Here's everybody's favorite person right now to come and take this microphone, Chris Sky.
Hello everybody. I don't know if you guys heard me speak for the last 4 or 5 weeks, but my number one priority is to get everybody back to work. Last week I told everybody that I was working on a nonprofit, a website, a funding campaign, and I'm proud to say that probably within the next 5 minutes, the site will be live. Business owners from all over Canada can donate. Business owners from Ontario can sign up. Private citizens can donate. We're going to start building our network all across Canada, and we're going to try to get everybody open as fast as we can, as safely as we can, as efficiently as we can. I don't know if you heard what the government's been saying. They already extended our emergency order until June 9th, and they're obviously going to do it again, without justification once again. Their original justification of not overwhelming the hospitals, of so-called flattening the curve, has proven to be a complete lie. As of yesterday, our 500 Ontario hospitals now only have 833 COVID patients. That's an average of just over 1.5 people per hospital. And every week, they come to you on TV and feed you the lie. The numbers aren't where we want them or where we need them. What numbers? Why don't you give us the details? Because if they gave you the details, like I just did, you know they were lying to you. You know they're extending this lockdown for political purposes, not for your health and not for your safety. So they lie, and they use their media, and they rely on your trust and your compliance. Every 2 weeks, that emergency order has to be re-justified. It cannot go on indefinitely without justification. Our rights are being violated. In 1948, the Declaration of Human Rights was written. It has now become the most translated document in all of human history. It translated into over 500 languages, and it applies universally around the world in every country. Article 23 of the Human Rights Act states, every person has the right to work, the right to favorable employment conditions, and the right to be protected from unemployment. As we can see, that right is being thoroughly violated, and once again, without justification. Trying to say that they have to keep infection rates down is the largest red herring of this entire scam. Infection rates don't matter. If you get 500 people infected and not one of them is sick enough to even go to the doctor, let alone the hospital, it's completely irrelevant. It doesn't put a burden on our health system. It doesn't put a burden on our country. But every single day, businesses are closing. I had a business try to open in a faraway place. I don't want to say the name. I don't want to make him public. But he's out of the GTA. He had a restaurant. He had support of the local community, support of the local police. They had absolutely no COVID infections in his entire town for weeks now. He tried to open. Global media was there. They gave to him. The government issued him a drastic warning. We'll fine you $50,000 and we'll take away your restaurant license permanently so you'll never be able to open another restaurant. These are the type of intimidation they are using to make people compliant. But the reality of the situation is they can charge you, they can fine you, they can do any of those things. It still has to go to court, and they still have to prove in court that they had justification to shut you down. And as we know, they don't. They know they don't. That's why they're trying to be so heavy-handed to scare you so you don't challenge them. Because they know if you challenge them individually, you can win. If you challenge them together, there's nothing they can do but let you go back to work. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna link businesses from all over Canada. My network is completely anonymous. The only person who will know the businesses in the network is me. The lawyer that I am using, the legal team I am using, will only know the businesses that actually need him. So, your info is completely safe. Nothing can happen to you. It's getting to the point, I've talked to dozens of businesses, and I asked them, how long can you last? Most of them are telling me, by July, they're done. August, they're done for sure. You think they're gonna let you guys open before then? Have you been looking around? What do they tell you now? Now they, after 2 weeks of saying we're never gonna do this, now they wanna do regional openings. Why do they wanna do this? So now they can tell you they're opening. Yeah, they're gonna open a small town with 100 people. They're gonna open another small town, just so they can provoke it another week, another week, another week. And by the time June 9th comes around, and they're ready to make justification, our hospitals are gonna be so empty that I don't even know what they're gonna be able to tell people anymore. Maybe that's why we have protests popping up all over the states, riots. I don't believe they're random, but we won't get into that. Because people are starting to wake up. People are realizing COVID is not nearly as dangerous as they say. So when people say it's a hoax, it's a scam, they're not saying it's fake, they're not saying nobody died. They're saying, look at the data. Our model said we're gonna have 500,000 people dying in Canada. Really? Really? In reality, 95% of all the people who died from COVID were 60 plus. The vast majority, underlying conditions. These are people that were going to die anyways. And they had other diseases, they had other conditions. They were at the end of their life. Many were 80 plus, which is the average life expectancy in Canada. So it's not out of the norm. Then we have not one child age 0 to 20 dead from COVID. But every day we have the news telling us about the new normal coming to schools with partitions and dots. No new normal. No closed businesses. We don't just want to open the schools. We want to open the schools in a way that's healthy for our children's minds and development. You understand? Not so-called healthy from a disease that has not killed one of them. What is more detrimental to their health? A disease that hasn't killed one of them, or putting them through over a decade of trauma and social conditioning that will make them unable to make decisions, unable to take criticism, unable to think for themselves, and live their entire lives in fear. Is that how you want your children to live? And if we don't go back to work, if we don't get those businesses back, and those families start suffering, how will you have the power to tell your government no? How will you be able to be independent enough to stand on your own 2 feet and say, we do not accept what you're doing to us? Answer, you can't. And that's why they're doing this. They want you to be paralyzed with fear. They want you to be so scared that you will literally sit at home and watch your livelihood slip away. Your business that you spent the last 10, 20 years, blood, sweat, tears, your entire heart and soul, the way you feed your family, the way you provide for your future generations, they are taking it all away from you, right in front of your face. And all they have to do is tell you, if you stand up for yourself, we're gonna make an example out of you. Well, I say, let them try. When we open 100 businesses all at once, wow, this is convenient. I gotta wait a second, sorry guys.
Right the rocket.
We need to apply the same rule that applies here. No offense, guys. You guys are great. We love you. You guys are all doing a great job. You've never given us We respect law enforcement, we really do. We understand you guys are being told to do things that I guarantee I know most of you don't agree with, but you don't want to speak up because, like everybody here, you want to work. And I'm sure you feel very fortunate to still be working. Well, you know most of these people are out of work. But the real point is, over here and a few people on this island, I wouldn't be speaking right now. You guys would already have me in custody. You guys would already have me taken away. The same applies to our businesses. If I opened a loan and I advertise my opening, they're gonna show up and hit me with everything. They're gonna try to put the fear of God into me and anyone else who thinks about opening. But if all the businesses open at the same time, if 100 open on the same day, what are they gonna do? They're gonna make it to 4 or 5 businesses that day, give most of them a warning, try to make an example of one. Let them try, we'll fight it. We'll bring it to court. I'll help. The legal fund is live. I want everybody to know that my contribution to the fund for the businesses, I will be paying the fees to the lawyer for the first 5 businesses that end up needing those services. So, you are not alone. That's what this is all about. They want you to feel helpless. They want you to feel alone. They want you to feel like you have no options. Well, there's always a choice. They gave you the choice of follow our illegal, immoral order and lose everything, or defy us and we will destroy you. Well, I'm giving you a third option. Defy them together and make them acquiesce to our demands, as they are supposed to. They still work for us. Regardless of how they talk down to you like children and disrespect you to the point where they won't even give you a potential opening date, we have the power, not them. That's why they have to lie to you. That's why they have to threaten you. That's why they have to patronize you. Because they know if we stand together, we will win. They have done many things to try to stop me. There is literally an entire web blog, pages long, dedicated to defaming me, that was conveniently put online the very day I announced Back to Work nonprofit. But guess what? I got my nonprofit status. We got our funding campaign. We're linking up with networks of hundreds of thousands of Canadians. And they all have one thing in common. They have had enough. Have you had enough? Yeah! Because I've had enough. These businesses have had enough. Families have had enough. Our right to work trumps their right to want to control us. That is not our right. That is what they feel they have the right to do. They do not. They have the right to do as we demand. They work for us, and we're going to prove it. I'm challenging them right now. This is not an endorsement to break the law. If the law is unjust and the law is going to ruin your livelihood, it's your absolute duty to stand up and say, this is wrong, and I am not going to stand for it for myself, my family, my friends, or my fellow Canadians. And once I get everybody back to work, once we get everybody back to work, because there's no way I can do this alone. I'm one man, I'm nothing. I need all of you. But once we do this and show them that we will unite, we will stand together, not only will they be absolutely terrified, this will be something that catches on globally. We will start a global movement against this tyranny and against these lies and against this propaganda and fear that they are using to control and subjugate you. And I'll have a new campaign, a better campaign, a campaign to spread awareness to millions and millions of people. Something that's going to make them turn over in their beds at night and reap the day I was born. I promise you that. All I need is you to help. All I need is for you to listen to these people. They're all good people. They all have your best interest at heart. We're not advocating violence. We're not advocating revolution. We're advocating intelligent freedom and non-compliance to tyranny, which is a civic right and a human duty. That's all I gotta say.
Wow. One more time, eh? Great stuff. Speaking of personal political struggles against this